What is going on, everyone? Mike Singer and Tim Hyde here live on YouTube after Notre Dame's, what was it, 56-3 dismantling of Tennessee State. Uh, Tim, 55-point wins, about what we would expect for this, I would say.
For today, yeah. I think my prediction. Well, I did 45-12 because I had to get a 2 in there. But I would
Well,
yeah.
why'd you have to put a deuce, Tim?
I was close, right? If he makes a couple field goals, it's he got 9 points, and you never know after that. So I was close. But no, it was hey, the perfect team to play after you just traveled to Europe to play a football game. So it was a good Saturday overall for the Irish.
Yeah, so just some of your thoughts. Who stood out? Actually, we got a super chat. We'll go to Tresh says the refs were horrible. I,
Right.
I, it
In
was
what way? Ask, yeah,
53.
in what way? Yeah, I guess.
He says, I get giving the non-favorite team a chance, but that was just bad. Good win. Let's get ready for NC State. Definitely agree. Good win. Get ready for NC State. The refs, I mean, I don't know. I guess the Ford, they didn't review the Ford thing, and then there was the targeting. So that was, yeah. But other than that, I thought it was fine.
I could be wrong. Just a quick 5 seconds on that. I could be wrong, but I think that also could come from the booth. So I don't know if that's an NFL thing or a college thing, but I think that could come from the booth as well. But I could be wrong.
Yeah. So okay, so Trash, yes, that was true. Like I thought that should have been reviewed. That Ford's fumble, and then the who is it? Antonio Carter. I actually kind of thought it was targeting. Like I thought it was pretty clear. Like
And on Ford's, when you watch it live, I was like, "Ooh, that's a nice clean hit," and it looked like he hit him much lower. It didn't look as violent on the head-to-head, but
and then when you slow mo it, Tim, it always looks so much worse when it's
everything
slow mo.
looks good in slow mo, right? It's like, yeah, no, I hear you.
So, but yeah. So, other thoughts on the game, Tim? Who'd you thought looked good?
Yeah, just going off my quick little my rundown here with about 15 different colored markers here. Obviously, offense efficient. Another nearly 15 snaps and 12 personnel. I found that interesting. So they're about 40 some odd percent, a little less. I charted 2 plays of 10 personnel, 4 true wide receivers out there. So that was a first. I got the media's favorite buzzword, Aztec. I saw that a half a dozen times in the first half. Didn't chart it in the second half, but first half. So we got everyone's favorite buzzword for the year. Buck sweep, a lot of guards pulling, double pulls by both guards. A lot of movement by the guards today. Run game, I just charted the first half, 70% efficiency. It was solid, and the ones they weren't efficient on, Zeke didn't come off his guy in time. Fisher and Evans had a bad combo block on one. It was just things you could always work on. Here's another little sticky note. Coach Parker up in the booth. They had the Reese cam on him today, so I found that interesting that he was up in the booth today. So that was good. And then the 2-minute drive was just like
beautiful.
It was beautiful. And another little sticky note right here is the NBC announcer said it best when he said it looks like a Thursday practice out there. And it was just boom, boom, boom. It looked like they're going on air. But it was a good work. It was a good work day all around. And that's the way I look at it. Just charted a bunch of stuff. It was a great work day. Nice win. Got out of there nice and healthy. Ford got off. That was the only big hit, correct? So that was, as an injury. And he walked off, looked fine. They probably just kept him out for caution. Other than that, played a bunch of guys in the first half, kind of the same rotation with the skill and the running backs in the first half that we saw during the Navy game. So that was good. And Notre Dame's got 2 nice games under their belt, and they're going to go on the road next week. So it's going to be a good football at noon kickoff. So that's going to be a nice game. And it'll be nice to see this football team against a solid NC State game. You and I were just talking a few seconds ago, weren't ultra impressive and whatnot, but they, got a good game against UConn. So that'll be a good game. I'm sure those guys will be plenty hyped up for Notre Dame next week.
A comment here that I've had on the screen for a little bit from Kevin, and if you're watching live with us, please, I'm queuing up comments for Tim and I to talk about. So post your comments. I read through as many of them as I can. And we're discuss some of the good stuff. Drop super chats, of course. Like we just got one from Joseph that we'll get to momentarily. And please, folks, please hit that thumbs up on this video to help support what we're doing here at Blue and Gold, and subscribe to our channel for more content. If you're listening via podcast, appreciate you as well. When you're not driving and listening to us, or however you're digesting this content, please head to blueandgold.com for more Notre Dame coverage. But that comment from Kev, which I just took it down and I didn't queue it up.
Yeah, the touchdown drives.
Yeah, 12 touchdowns and
13
drives.
13.
It's pretty darn good. I mean, the offense, and going back to the 2-minute drive, Tim, that was like oh yeah, like this is different. Like, not only maybe Reese and Kelly would have been conservative there. It's hard to say though, because Hartman's just a different level quarterback than Notre Dame's previously had. I mean, that it was very good, Tim.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I actually wrote on there, tight end you showed up. So that was my big point on that drive. We finally saw the tight ends come alive. So that was fun to see on that drive with Evans, and obviously stays with the touchdown there. But it's good. That's going back to 2021, the Virginia game. I think when Kelly took a knee kind of with 90 seconds to go and people lost their mind, but Virginia, remember, didn't even have their quarterback in that game. They're up, I think, 28-3, 28-0 at half, and they're like, let's just get the heck out of here. So, but that was just a little, if fans think back to the 2-minute drill. But that also goes back to what the announcer said. It just looked like a Thursday practice, so comfortable, nice and easy by Sam Hartman throwing the ball around. So it was that was a great way to end the half. That, for sure, when once again you get that work, and that's kind of what this game was. Notre Dame came out a little sluggish. Defense, what was it, 14-play drive, 15 play. Tennessee just killing the clock. A couple little dink and dunks, got the first downs, kept the chains moving, got the field goal. Then obviously the big hit knocks Ford out. You're like, holy crap. They may punch this in and get 10 points and make this a semi-battle. And then Notre Dame is just too efficient. There's just too much talent on the field when you're playing an FCS team. And it's not even so much an FCS, Mike Goolsby texted me the Oregon score. They're playing a really good program at Portland State out of the Big Sky. Totally different than a Tennessee State. So, but Tennessee State, I thought, played hard. I thought those guys battled their tails off. They competed. You could tell they loved being at Notre Dame. They didn't want to come off the field. A couple of guys got hurt, and they're like, no, I'm playing. And that was nice to see from them. But these first two games are out of the way. Let's start playing some football. I mean, seriously, I feel like let's start playing some ball. I mean, seriously, for Notre Dame. It's time to start. NC State road, Buckeyes in a couple of weeks. It's going to start getting for real here in about a few seconds.
All right, we got a few super chats to go ahead and get to. Andrew says, Love had the run of the game. Very exciting. Can you imagine if we had Dylan Edwards?
Oh.
He was amazing today. A little nice win for Coach Prime over a team that just lost in the national title game. But I know that TCU team's totally different. But listen, look, Dylan Edwards did look amazing, but it's just like let's pump the brakes a little bit. Like, even the Zachariah Branch kid at USC, who I do think is going to be a superstar. Like, guys, it's one game. Like, sometimes.
True, but but he's doing that against TCU. He's doing that against a Big 12 team. He's, and they're going to be conference rivals starting next year. He looked, Mike. I watched some of that game. I was doing some work today, and he's got a different gear.
Yeah,
okay? Edwards and Branch have different gears, and I mean, we're not Colorado SC page, but you can appreciate some speed, and Dylan Edwards has some speed. No doubt. He's fast.
For sure. I just don't like frowning off of one. Like, come on. But Tom says, love the team today. The one big question mark is pass rush. We saw some bad throws, but where are the sacks? Love the show, Go Irish. Tom, thank you. Tim, do you have any thoughts on this? Let's see. Sacks.
Yeah, I mean they got rid of the ball. So
Notre Dame only had one sack.
Yeah, I mean they got rid of the ball really quick. Some of the pressures, he got rid of it, threw the ball away a handful of times. I mean, Yeah, I mean, I'll be very surprised. I was expecting at least a half a dozen. I just thought they would speed rush, but they did sometimes. Sneed, Maris forced a couple pressures. Jalen Sneed one time, I mean, he looked like Jalen Smith rushing off the edge on one. He got by the offensive tackle so fast. Quarterbacks like just get rid of this ball really quick. So I think a lot of it had to do with that. The style of the offense from just watching it live. But good question, and we're going to know a lot more about that next week. And obviously, a couple weeks from now when the Buckeyes come to town.
And you can't do our show next week, right, Tim? Our Saturday show? You're coaching?
I will. I may jump on. I may jump on depending on what you're doing. I'll chat with you during the week if I could. I probably can. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I'll have my people talk to your people.
Thing, because it's a noon kickoff, and yeah. I'll check it out.
All right. Tim's like,
well, I want it because it's a fun game. We finally get to watch Notre Dame go against someone with athletes that are going to look like them. So
yeah,
definitely want to be there and chat with everyone next week.
All right, Joseph with $5 super chat says Hartman is the only reason Notre Dame stayed in the first quarter. Then the team came to life. Plus the Irish have studs and running back. Yeah. I mean the team. It was 7-3 after the first quarter, and I was like, but I don't know.
That was because they had a. Yeah, I mean it's the long drive. The long drive that Tennessee State chewed up so much. Even Notre Dame chewed up a bunch. I don't know what their minute was, but it's the first quarter. Sometimes first quarters are odd. They have different flows to them. As you get rolling and you start getting more comfortable, and obviously they blew up after that first quarter. So, you're not going to come out and, it just depends. But the running backs came to life. Hartman did some really good things. A couple of the third down passes but it was also third and mediums, and they were just hitting the hitches there and things. Which were just wide open. Very efficient from Sam Hartman. It looked like the game, going back to last week and, the experience, all these minutes, all these snaps under his belt, it shows in certain moments in the game.
Yeah. I appreciate the super chat, Joseph. Good stuff, Tim. Steven had a $1 super chat and said, Tobias is like John Cena when it comes to playmaking. We can't see him. Yeah, I think we had talked about last week, Tim. Let's...
What do you have? One catch, the one little hitch route?
It was 2 catches, 5 yards on how many targets was that? 3. So yeah, not a ton there from Tobias today. How are you kind of feeling on that after 2 games against these 2 teams?
Yeah, it goes back to the game. It goes back to the game plan, so to speak. They're just. I mean, a lot of Hartman stuff is underneath. It is short, trying to find, first down guys, hit, easy passes. Obviously, he threw much deeper on the 2-minute drill as he started pushing it. And they just attacked over the middle because it's quick. You save time instead of trying to read all 5 guys and go deep. But it's, it is what it is. It's, I guess, a little disappointing. Are they trying to hit him deep? Are they trying to get him on a post? I don't know. I mean, I'll have to go back and rewatch it. But yeah, 2 games in, 2 catches in 2 games. He's now got a grand total of 3 in his early Notre Dame career. So that's we're going to find out, Mike, against these big teams. Can Hartman, and that's what it's going to boil down to. I'll rewatch NC State, get a better feel for them. But because they're going to press. They're physical as could be. They got some really good DBs. So can Notre Dame dink and dunk, or team's going to – it just seems like on 3rd and 5, Notre Dame guys are wide open. It's like, how do you not cover a guy at 3rd and 5? And that's happened 2 weeks in a row against Navy and Tennessee State. Expected it a lot today against Tennessee State, but we'll see. It is once against the fandom. I talked about this last week. I think his fandom has a lot to do with, his situation in recruiting. Kelly leaving, obviously he was in the living room. You know what I mean? It's like that. Just to me, just feels like just so much pressure got put on him because he stayed, and they need wide receivers to blow up. But you know what? Hartman's finding other guys. He's hit Thomas, he hit the tight ends. He got a nice corner out to Chris Tyree today. So he did a few other things. Heck, he kept it on a QB keeper, for crying out loud. Had the tight end blocking out there. So he's going to have to go deep. I guess my bottom line is there's going to be a point against the Buckeyes where they're just going to stack the box and say, beat us up top.
Yeah.
Our corners versus you guys, beat us. And that's what we're going to get here in a couple of weeks. We're going to see it next week. NC State's got really good DBs. They're going to press the living heck out of Notre Dame.
Yep. Still early in the season. Not time to panic yet.
And there's one, just real quick. There's one where he hit Thomas. I think it was the Thomas crosser. You see Tobias running a post, and he looks wide, like not even being covered. But Hartman obviously wanted to get the first down, released it quicker. So there are moments like that in the Navy game as well. It's like if he just pauses one more second, Tobias is open. It's gonna happen. It's got to happen. How's that? It's got to happen.
All right, let's hear from a quick word. Our sponsors over at My Perfect Franchise, and maybe you're watching this and you're a displaced corporate executive. Maybe you're wanting to put your career in your own hands. Maybe you're an experienced entrepreneur and you're wanting to diversify. Well, Andy Ludicky can help you out. He's a huge college sports fan and a franchise veteran, having owned multiple franchises and businesses. Using Andy's expertise, he helps others find their American dream through a very thorough consultation and evaluation process. Give Andy a call, put your life and career in your own hands, and best of all, his services are 100% free to use. So what do you have to lose? Find your perfect franchise at myperfectfranchise.net. Phone number to give Andy a call, 404-973-9901. Susan says, appreciate your dress code today. Tim, we've been doing the shirt and tie thing for years, and then just in the past week or so, people are like, Mike, you need to wear a jacket, with the
no tie. So it's
calm down.
Hey, we got 12 games. You get a bowl game. Luckily, it's our time to wear a tie. So I mean, easy as that. It's something you started. We've just kept it going. Let's keep it alive, right? It's year 3 together. We're just doing what we do.
John says Hyde and Singer got just boxers on with a tie and shirt. I mean, 1,000%. Well, I mean, yes. I am just wearing boxers. I will admit it. If I have to stand up, listen. If something happens down here, if I have some kind of breakdown, I will not be getting up because. Okay, all right. We'll just continue on. We'll continue on with the show. Andrew said, "Don't be mad, Mike. Angeli didn't look like a super talent." Joseph with the $10 super chat, did Angeli inspire any confidence today? I'm going to be honest with you, Tim. There's really nothing that could have happened. Look, if Tobias is going to go out there across 2 games and have 2 catchers for 5 yards, and I'm still like, it's not a big deal. Hartman goes nearly perfect in 2 games. I'm kind of even keel on this. I thought Angeli had some really good moments, for the 8 of 11, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had some good moments, but like, I don't know if you can take a ton away. I mean, I thought he did well. That was his first real game action he's ever had. Played a quarter and a half. It was a good showing for Angeli. Thought he did some good things. Some things I'm sure he's going to learn from. I'm curious if someone paid Blake Fisher to allow that Tennessee State DN to just run right by him and smack Angeli in the face. I was like, whoa, where has that been in 2 games, Fisher? It's like someone paid Blake Fisher an NIL deal to get back on Mike Singer. So I am 1,000% kidding. But Tim, just thoughts on Angeli. Please don't make me mute you either.
No. Hey, real quick, that number 5, I don't have I don't have the roster in front of me. That guy, he did that on Fisher. And he also did that on Coogan on the Angeli when Angeli spun out and dumped the pass. And who was that? Price. Price runs it in for a touchdown. So number 5 did that to a couple guys today. So, man, he was playing. No, overall, it's, hey, Angeli's Angeli is the way I look at it. I'm going to just keep saying that. He's, a great in cut to Evans on 1 3rd down, trying to hit Flores on the one at 10 yards over his head on the out. That was inaccurate as could be. The one, the announcer said he obviously held on the ball, but that goes back to playing time experience, all those things on the one that Fisher hit. I don't know who he was throwing that to because Rico Flores looked like he had 2 guys on him. So if he's trying to throw it to Flores, he was covered pretty good.
I thought he looked open on the angle I saw, but
I have no idea. I mean, we'll see a wide copy or whatever. It just looked like it. Once again, slow mo. Looked like there was a dude there, a guy under him. I don't know. I have to rewatch it again. So if it was there, great. Other than that, a lot of checkdowns, a lot of short things, a lot of stuff 5 yards and less. But it's also whatchamacallit, Hartman's done that as well. So
it's also a blowout in the second half. I mean, like, I was just happy that he got to throw the ball more than just a screen, right, Tim? Like, at least.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Well, exactly. His first couple passes were screens or little bubbles or dump passes again, and it's just like let the guy throw.
And he did.
Let him go. He had, like I said, real nice, in on the third down to Evans. I was a little bummed after they got picked up a couple first downs, and they just ran the ball 3 plays in a row. And on fourth down, they ran it and they got the penalty and had to punt. Didn't let him throw on that, after they got the, couple first downs. I was like, come on, just let him play. Let the guy go. So that's just a little interesting of why they don't do more, I guess. I don't know.
I wasn't. And I'm the biggest Angeli fan there is, and I'm like, yeah, I was content with what the usage. I mean, considering the context, Tim.
Hey, 2 touchdowns, Mike. Tobias 2 catches. Who would have thought after 2 games, Angeli and Tobias are tied with the 2s, right? With the 2s. So the 2s keep coming up all week. Yeah, the 2s are constantly coming up this entire week.
Don't cramp up, Tim. Jeez.
Yeah, don't cramp up. I told you, hydrate 24/7, guys.
All right. Hey, cheers to that, my friend, with my H2O here. Joseph, really do appreciate the super chats. Let's continue on. Yeah, Ryan said NC State. This is a little bit earlier in the show. NC State's going to be tough.
Sure, it's a road game. I mean, but it's a road game. It's their first time going on the road. Brennan Armstrong is, experienced quarterback. It's going to be, it's going to come down to one of the guys who said earlier, the pass rush. Are they going to have to contain the guy who almost ran for 100 yards last night or Thursday night, whenever they played, just scrambling around like crazy. So we're going to have to contain, which means you're going to have to spy. Maris did a handful of that today. Well, he'll be the spy guy, and which means those outside guys are going to have to cover the safeties. One big negative today was Notre Dame, a couple pass interferences. It's like, guys, you seriously got a pass interference to Tennessee State? That was a little interesting that they had, I think, 2 PI calls. So, in the game, they attacked Morrison. Those guys did today, and he has he was all over the place, it looked like. He was blanketing guys pretty good. So he gave up 1 catch on a 1 deep stop. So it's like NC State's not going to go up top on Morrison or Hart unless it's a fade, just trying to just streak a guy. So all the underneath stuff, their passing attack, their reads, they're going to attack the heck out of Notre Dame safeties. So that's when we're going to see a real test for Notre Dame's defense next week.
All right, ND Nation says helmet guys on turnover, please help WTF. So just kind of going back to these calls. All right, and then someone else just posted a minute ago. Seriously, another anti-Notre Dame bias call by the officials. I'm gonna. So you're saying please help, ND Nation. So you did ask. It's football. I mean, there's a lot of tackling and forceful hitting. These things are going to happen. You're going to have, and you have human error in officials. Over this course of the season, it evens out between, this was a bad call for Notre Dame in a targeting situation. It's a good thing, in terms of the other player getting tossed, in Notre Dame. It's going to even out. It just, I just don't really think it's this is not a big talking point from the game to me as these
56-3. That was the final, right? It's like
it was, and Carter went out in the first quarter or first half. So it's not like he's missing NC State. So I'm not worried about it. It's fine. So
it was first half. You're right. That's right. So he'll be back. Yeah.
Yeah. Do I think it was targeting from the angle? I kind of thought it was. But so why did you ask for my help then? If you're saying, Mike, come on, it was blatant. Like, I didn't think the Ford one was. I did think the Ford one was on the kickoff, but the Carter one kind of looked like one to me. But like, this is just football. And all. I really think they need to do what the NBA does with a flagrant 1 and a flagrant 2. Like there should be a targeting 1 and a targeting 2. A really bad targeting, a little slap on the wrist. It's just just a 15-yard penalty. But then if you get a second targeting 1, you're out, and then you miss the rest of the game with right.
Yeah, that's actually come up in the last couple of years in the rules committee, the NCAA. When they change rules, that's actually come up about letting the referees pull that back, throw a 15, keep the guy in the game. So that's got to pass here soon. That's got to pass.
Maybe
it goes back to the Final Four game with what's his name, Harrison, when he got knocked out. That type of action.
I think I need to watch the Antonio Carter one back because everyone's just that one's the one. So maybe I just
yeah, I'll be honest, I didn't really focus on it too much. I was playing catch up and watching plays, and I saw he got thrown out first half, and I was like, well, he'll be back in NC State, and he's a backup. He's not even out there with the first unit, not even out there on the dime, the nickel. He's 100% backup guy.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna see if someone puts it on Twitter so I can take a peek at it again. Good for Tyree. Andrew Gilmore says Tyree had just the one catch, but it did go for the 24 yards and a touchdown. It's a pretty nice little corner out by him. And it was a nice ball by Sam Hartman. Yeah.
It was 3-by-1 down there. It was really nice route by him. He went in, cut out. Greathouse had a heck of a corner route as well on one of his catches, which was excellent. So. And another thing, real quick, just as we got talking about wide receivers, was I'm dying to rewatch. Was Colsey out there? I saw him in the second half. The first half, Flores played a bunch. I mean, he was like out there. I didn't chart the 10. I just saw his 10 personnel because I'm always looking at tight ends, and I saw his 4 wides. But Flores played a lot, much more than Jaden Greathouse again today. So I don't know if that's just a Flores and Tobias just rotate every couple of plays out there. So I found that interesting how much Rico has been playing.
Yeah. He's a really good looking player, Tim. Like he just, love Rico Flores. Kale says, very interested to see how the snap counts were today. And that is something that we will have at Blue and Gold tomorrow on our website. And then Tim and I will break that down on Wednesday. Because I think that's definitely going to be interesting to kind of look at the snap counts through a couple weeks. Yeah, Ross said I didn't see Colsey. Was he hurt? ? No, he was healthy. He just didn't get a whole lot of run. Patrick said Josh Burnham looks good. Tim, another good showing from him.
Yeah, he played the strong side. When he comes in. Yeah, I mean when he was in, he played the strong side DN. So he had Burnham and they had Tuli Alamaka out there as the two ends. When they got going. So that's 2 weeks in a row. He's been playing that 3-point stance. He's been playing that hard 5-tech. That hard C-gap player down in a 3-point. So is that something they see him evolving to? He's almost like the recruit in this class, the Mullins kid, the Georgia guy. You know what I mean? Real physical, attack, hard-nosed C-gap player. So is that something Burnham's going to evolve to? Because you still have Tuli Alamaka. Snead could be a Viper. Boubacar could be the Viper next year. So they don't need so many. So is Burnham just going to keep eating mashed potatoes and a lot of steak there in the dining hall? And all of a sudden he's 275 pounds next year playing that, wide side C gap. That's something that might be, as we move on this year and head into the spring. But that's 2 weeks in a row. He's been in the pit a lot. Pit meaning hand in the dirt.
Right. Yeah. Andrew said Price is fast. Why is he 4th string?
Ooh,
I think he was like second. It was Payne. I think Payne's pretty much the number 2 back.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it's the other 3 are kind of vying for that number 3 spot. But really, I think I still think when Notre Dame's in a tight game, you're going to lean on Estime and then in Payne. And I think it's going to be difficult for the other 3 to really get a lot of run. But I really think it's a 1, 2, and then a 3 ABC. Like, because they're all, so he might have got the 4th amount of snaps today, but I don't see him as a number 4 guy. I think it's like all 3 of those guys are like a 3rd option.
And I'll say, going back to Price, don't forget, this is a 1AA. They didn't need him 12 carries out there. He even did press conferences this week, and he talked about how he is coming back still. He's not, a true, which is scary, correct? He's admitted he's not a true 100%. So I think it's a good snap count, and they're finding ways to get him the ball out in the open field, use his speed, things of that nature. So he's coming back from an injury. We got to remember that. Mike Goolsby talks about injuries because he knows them so well, the management of them and coming back and the therapy. And Achilles is difficult. Some guys say it takes an entire season once you are back. So he's not going to be the dude we all expect until really next year. From what, when you look at the injuries and you read about them. Same thing with Eli Raritan. I've seen people like, what's up with him? He's blown out 2 knees. Let that guy get ready.
Yeah.
Because he keeps getting asked 2 weeks in a row. The press keeps asking about him, and he's like, he's not ready. And he's the third, fourth tight end. If he comes back, you got 2 guys already in the rotation. Sherwood's been playing their third tight end when needed. So Raritan's going to ease his way into this thing, I'm sure, a little bit at a time. But with Price, I wouldn't be too worried about him. He's going to get his reps. Estime's the dude. Estime's going to have 25 carries against the Buckeyes. He may have 20 some odd next week, because they're going to need his physicality on the road.
Definitely. Well, for folks who were watching the game in South Bend today, or maybe you are going to a future Notre Dame game, I hope you stop in at Augie's Locker Room, because it's definitely a place for all Fighting Irish fans. You at least got to go in there. And if you do go in there, good luck trying to get out of there without purchasing something. So when you do come for a game, you have to make time for Augie's Locker Room. They have a wide selection of Notre Dame stadium pieces, jerseys, helmets, autographs, one-of-a-kind rock me items, and really so much more. And as we do this ad read every week, there's always new stuff always popping up on their website. Again, that's augieslockerroom.com. You can find exclusive Joe Montana signed items and famous sculptor Jerry McKenna's replicas of the Browns statues that you'll find around the stadium. Augie gets new stuff in all the time, and if he doesn't have it in store, he will go out and find what you are looking for. Visit Augie. It's 1811 South Bend Avenue. It's real close to campus, and you'll get to see the vintage helmet display dating back to 1890. He's got amazing items. You're going to want to check him out. Again, augieslockerroom.com. Give him a call. 574-277-6363, 574-277-6363. Tim, did you know that Stephanie believes that you are a fine fellow and a talent? Did you know that?
Well, thank you, Stephanie. Yeah,
well, she says
the aftershave lotion I use, right?
She tweets, "Fine fellow and BGI News talent." And I saw this tweet because I was running the BGI account during the game today. She says, Tim Hyde says this offense is exactly the same as 2022. Sure, except this iteration of it actually works. I sense a little bit of sarcasm from you, Stephanie.
Oh, of course. So, which is interesting, Stephanie, because here I did write on some of the things where Notre Dame did their double wing sets, meaning 12 personnel. Tight ends are in the wings, running the ball out of that. It looked like it was the Ohio State play.
Let me help you, Tim. Your point is not about the success of the offense. It's how they look in terms of formation, right? Maybe Notre Dame's throwing more receiver screens, but I mean,
they're just throwing it out quicker. But once again, who were those wide receivers last year? Michael Mayer caught, I call them line passes, where you're just dumping them on the line. We saw 5 or 6 of them today. Michael Mayer caught those last year. These aren't new. They just look new because the different dudes are catching it, other than a 265-pound tight end. But yeah, when I say the offense is the same personnel packages, same formations. There's nothing drastically different or crazy. Notre Dame is still running duo like mad. There's one play on here. I'm like, duo instant. It's the way the blocking scheme is, opposite the tight end that you can see. And formations, some of the routes, it's just different. And people are so hung up because they want to, let's be honest here. They want to attack anything that has to do with Brian Kelly, anything that has to do with Tommy Rees. Easy as that, because those 2 guys have left. They've gone to the SEC. They're playing big-time football down there, and people don't like that.
And they're not easy to like either. So
but people just, people just love to be negative. Easy as that. I wish them well. They did their job. And
look who's talking, Tim. Mr. I have rarely ever anything nice to say about Steve, but continue.
But anyway, that's basically what it is. It's a way to attack. And then I don't know how many times I got to talk to him blue in the face. Who in the heck were they throwing the ball to? Brendan Lindsay, who had never been healthy in his day in his life until last year. And he had a chance to come back. He's like, now I'm going to go work in the business world. So, he was done playing football. Like, come on. It's like we talked or blew in their face about last year's offense, this year's offense. Hartman is now up to 3,600 plus snaps, where Pine was in the hundreds when he started to play last year. It's like people just refuse to look at the obvious and compare things. And it's easy as that.
It's an interesting stance.
But of course the offense is going to be different this year. They have different dudes. They have a different quarterback. They have a quarterback that has played against Power 5 teams for 5 years. I don't understand why this is so hard for some to see. It's just fascinating. And for crying out loud, Sam Hartman was benched as a sophomore. He got beat out. He got beat out at Wake Forest, that powerhouse program in North Carolina. And then he learned, he came back, and he's been a dude ever since.
And
so
Obama was president when that happened. That was so long ago. I mean, come on.
That's how long he's played, Mike. People constantly want to rip, our offense is flowing. It's even going back to the guy's chart, like Hartman's 12 out of 13 touchdown drives. Yes, he should. They played a horrible Navy team and then one of the worst FCS programs in the country. They should be scoring touchdowns. Next week, we're going to obviously see something different. And we just are. If he goes out there and torches them, he has 8 drives and he scores on 6 of them. That's awesome. Central Michigan will be another scrimmage. And then we got the gauntlet with Ohio State, back-to-back roadies, Duke, Louisville, USC, correct? And then they start moving all the way down from there. Those 4 games with Ohio State is going to be tough as could be.
Sometimes I just don't. You have takes, Tim, and I'm like, I just don't understand the point.
Understand what about Hartman? What are we talking about? So the fact that Hartman has more experience than anyone in college football playing, and it should be a positive. That's the whole reason why Marcus Freeman brought him here, was to do all the things he has been doing. So this should not be some new crazy thing that people are seeing and people are losing their minds. It's like, it's why he was brought here. This was his 47th college football start, Mike. 47th college football start.
Yeah, but when my wife cleans the kitchen,
come on.
What am I supposed to say? Well, you should clean the kitchen. That's your job. No, I say, hey, baby, good job cleaning.
But does she have years of experience of cleaning the kitchen, or is she just wiping it down with some like bad soap or something? Come on.
She's experienced, and I'm very proud of her, and I still love her up.
Exactly. But it's going back to her point of this constant just like saying the oddest things about trying to compare this year to last year. It is 2 different worlds.
Yeah.
2021, they had Jack Cohn, and they lived in nothing but 11 personnel. And there were more wide open, more spread, did a ton of that. 2020, what was the strength? 5 offensive linemen that are all in the NFL, running backs, big tight ends, 3 tight ends that all are in the NFL playing, Tremble, Mayer, Brock Wright. You play to your strengths, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I'm with you on like it's different. The personnel's different. You got a new OC. It's going to be different. I just don't know how we landed on the 12 out of 13. Well, it should be like, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of setting up Hartman to be, if you are anything less than perfection, then like
no, it has not. Whoa! It has nothing about perfection. Who is Notre Dame open this season against?
I'm with you.
Come on,
I'm with you.
Yes,
I'm with you. I'm
not saying he doesn't have to be 12 out of 13 drives against the Buckeyes and Duke. That'd be awesome. That means Notre Dame's going to win those games. But I'm just saying, it's the opening 2 games.
Yeah.
I don't know why this is a surprise in the opening 2 games. I've been saying for months, it's like Notre Dame should be 4-0 walking into Ohio State. They 99.9% are going to be 4-0 walking into Ohio State. So none of this is new.
No, but we're seeing it. We're seeing it, and it's exciting.
Exactly.
13 is very good.
There's no issues with that.
Okay.
That was my opening statement of this game, the opening statement of last game. It's efficient. Everything they're doing is working. everything they're doing is
Hey,
fine.
I'm with Citizen. What's the discussion again? I'm just trying to figure out where Tim
Well, the
is at.
discussion goes back to the ladies, critique or whatever it was. So I don't know. Ask another question. It's I don't know. It's just mind boggling
All
how
right, how
people
about
want
this?
to argue.
I like Tobias's catch on that third down to extend the chain. So it was only a few yards, but I'm just looking at my notes now. I like Tobias. The diving interception by Ramon Henderson was very nice.
Yep.
Great pressure up the gut by Howard Cross. Thought Henderson made a nice play. Really like Jabran Payne. Now, if you compare Jabran Payne to Logan Diggs, it's kind of like, oh, well, they both wear number 3, right? But I do feel like they're similar as players, Tim. They kind of both have that all around feel to their games. But I like Payne more. I think Payne's just more of a physical running back. I really like Jabran Payne. What a nice pickup for Notre Dame. Tim, you have thoughts?
Oh, I'll take Diggs over Payne any day. I think Diggs is a much
Okay,
better
you think so?
football player. Yeah.
You
That's
seem to like to bounce things outside a lot more.
yeah, good football player.
Okay.
Diggs was a good football player. Diggs
Yeah,
played as a freshman overestimated. Let's don't forget. He beat, he was the dude early on as a freshman. Not Audric. Audric rode the bench all year. Logan Diggs is a good football player.
yeah, he's good. I like Payne. I don't. Logan Diggs leaves, and I think Notre Dame's running back room is
Well,
better
it's not bad
overall.
at all. It's not bad at all. It's a
Oh,
good
it's
solid
better.
running.
Oh yeah, it's
We're
better than
asking-
yeah,
Well, of course it's better because they got more depth now. Yes.
yeah, yeah. Carlton says working at a level unseen in a while. Not sure of the context, but I
We're
appreciate it.
talking about the offense. Exactly,
Oh,
Carl. Exactly. There's no issues with that at
okay,
all.
okay, okay. Um, Tight ends finally got some catches. Tim, that was nice to see.
Yep. Return of tight end you.
Yeah, no concern there. Bryce McPherson got his first appearance midway through the third quarter of the second game. Of course, you had the missed field goal against Navy, and then you had, the last drive of the Navy game was, clock hit triple zeros. So I thought that was good to see. I did find it interesting, Tim, that Notre Dame, when they put Angeli in, their only change was the quarterback. They let him play with the first team. I thought that was a good thing. Get him a little experience with that group. And then
With the
the
O-line.
the last thing I want to mention was the backup offensive line that was seen early in the fourth quarter from left to right. It might have been in the third quarter too, but I just didn't pick them until the fourth. Tosh Baker was your left tackle, Billy Strouth, your left guard, Ashton Craig center, Andrew Kostovic right guard, Emil Wagner right tackle. Do you have any thoughts on that O-line grouping?
No, they're fine. Billy Schroff looked. It goes back to last week. He really popped off on the film against Navy. His athleticism, you could see a lot of really good football in there. He's definitely the third guard. If something happens in one of those two, yeah, they're throwing Billy Schroff in there. He's good. He's physical. He gets after it, and looking forward to going back rewatch and seeing one of that. I really want to watch Wagner. Obviously, didn't have a chance to go back and rewatch him and break him down. I really want to watch him. He looks unbelievable out there. God, he's just a good looking football player in pads. So I want to go see how his footwork did, his hands and things of that nature. But Billy is popped the last 2 weeks on film. So he's without a doubt, that third guard moving forward.
Yeah, want to take a look at some stats real quick. Look at these final numbers. Sam Hartman, 14 to 17, 194 yards, 2 touchdowns. Angeli, 8 of 11, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. Minchie in a little cameo. Look, it's freshman year, second game, and he's already got to throw a couple passes. Like Angeli, I think, had thrown. Was the Navy his first passing attempt? The Navy game last week?
Yeah, he didn't throw any last year. He got in against UNLV. The handful. He got in 4 games. Yeah, but he never threw a pass.
Yeah. So I'm sure that's awesome for Minchie to actually throw a couple passes in a game. Receiving, nice outing for Mitchell Evans, 4 receptions on 5 targets for 61 yards. Jaden Thomas, 4 receptions, 62 yards, caught all 4 of his targets. Jadarian Price, of course, had that receiving touchdown from Angeli, and so did Jabran Payne, where Yeah, great touchdowns, but Tennessee State just did not want anything to do with the game really at that point. Rico Flores, 2 receptions, 31 yards. Jaden Greathouse had the 2 receptions for 30 yards. Merriweather, I want to see more from him next week. Just 2 receptions for 5 yards, and Tyree had the 24-yard touchdown on the corner out. And then let's go quickly to the running backs. Estime, 13 attempts, 116 yards and a touchdown. Jay Love, that first, I think that was the first touchdown of the game, was really, really nice. 5 attempts, 46 yards and a touchdown. Payne, 6 for 27. Hartman got in the end zone as well. And then defensively, Tim, Howard Cross, when your interior defensive lineman is leading the team in tackles, that's a pretty good sign for his production. So thoughts on some of these stats, Tim?
Yeah, Cross was all over the place. He got held. I mean, someone was talking about the refs. My first thought on the refs, like, yeah, they could have called holding whoever was blocking Howard Cross about 6 times, but they didn't. They let that. He's getting his whole jersey ripped a handful of times. So he was outstanding. JD made a couple nice plays. Like I said, Marist early was more of a spy. We saw the Aztec package, everyone's dime package, and the 6 DBs out there looked nice, and they had Marist and Botello, out there. Oh, excuse me, it was Marist was the one edge. They had Baptiste was the other. Botello was the movement guy inside who did a bunch of that, and then JD's the true Mike Backer in that whole package. So, real quick on the D, Thomas Harper was the starting nickel.
Yep.
Did barely play last week. That's probably more to do with Navy.
Did Lewis start last week?
God, man. Well, they played Navy, so whatever
their just the base.
Yeah, it would have been Lewis, or Lewis and Kaiser probably, right? Or no, it was Watts. I don't know. Don't even ask.
Okay.
It was Navy. They play so many different guys against Navy. It's the Navy group. But Harper being this week a real offense, true 11 personnel, 10 personnel. It was Harper out there with the starting nickel, so that must mean he's the guy, obviously, going forward. He wasn't going to play last week. You never saw a triple option in the Big 12. Those guys are scoring 60 points a game, so a little different atmosphere for him. But I found that was interesting. And then Baptiste, man, that dude is long. That's a tall dude out there. So looking forward to seeing him go next week, NC State, and keeping contained on Armstrong and getting ready down the road here. But overall, solid. It's always nice to watch the young guys run around, have some fun. Would love to see Snead snaps a game, because he was in the 20s last week, I believe, against Navy. So they played him a ton, and number 3 was out there early and often today. So he's was playing well and did a little pass rushing as well.
Yeah. Total yards 557 to 156. Yeah, that's that's a Notre Dame versus an FCS team.
And they got 60 of them on the opening drive, right?
Right.
They didn't shoot all that clock, so that just tells you a lot about that right there.
All right, I'm seeing a lot of comments. I searched on Twitter. No one's tweeted a video of the Antonio Carter. I really need to see it again. So if you guys watch that clip, just like send me a DM or tweet or something. I just need to see that back. And I'm sure, Tim, you'll watch the game again here soon if you have.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I saw it, and it's like
I just need to see it again, because I thought maybe he
did such a big uproar. I don't know why this is the big talking point today, but oh well.
Maybe there was a shoulder. I thought he kind of left his helmet, but everyone is saying no, he didn't, Mike. So I guess I need to watch it back again. So if it's the entire majority against me, or 100% majority, then I'm probably wrong. So I'll have to go find that. Yeah, Tim, any closing thoughts? I think we're about wrapped up here.
You know what? One thing we didn't really talk much about was the O-line. A little sloppy at times. It looked like just a little sloppy. Rocco got beat bad early on one of the Pines. Obviously, we talked about Fisher. Coogan got beat really bad on the one spin out actually, Rocco and Coogan got beat both those guys, how Angeli spun out of that and dumped the ball out was really nice. But when you see things like that, obviously it's one play or 2 plays. But it's like, okay, you got the freaks called the Ohio State Buckeyes up front. So you're get ready for those guys. That's where that game's going to be won, is that interior. Alt and Fisher are going to be solid. Buckeyes have outstanding DNs, but Fisher and Alt are vets. They're going to hold up their own that game. Buckeyes may get one here and there, but those guys will win the majority, I believe. It's going to be that inside against those, we're already talking about Ohio State finally. Jeez Louise.
Yeah, one thing
we're trying to get there, but a little sloppy at times, not great push. Running back got stuffed a handful of times, which happens, but that's just being nitpicky. And like I said, they had a run game efficiency of 70% in the first half, that's 2 weeks in a row in the 70s, which is just outstanding run game.
Yep, 6.7 yards per carry, 221 yards on the ground. Very good for the Fighting Irish. Did want to shout out Clarence Lewis with the pick six. Good to see that in Lewis's senior year. So, we are going to wrap it up there. So we will have the Mike Goolsby show Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. I'm sure Goolsby will have some interesting stuff to talk about, as he always does. Monday, 3 p.m. Hey Horka show as Tyler Horka at Blue and Gold wraps up this game and then previews Notre Dame NC State. Tim and I at 8 p.m. Eastern Wednesday. All right, so Tim and I will be good to go Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Thursday morning, 10:30 Eastern time. That's in the morning. Myself and Kyle Kelly have a recruiting shows. We talk about some of the latest Notre Dame recruiting updates. It's kind of getting into a busy time in the world of Fighting Irish football recruiting. And we got to wrap up early here because I got some recruits to get on the phone with. And then, check blueandgold.com for those, for all the recruiting updates, all the stories about this game, Notre Dame versus Tennessee State. Hit that thumbs up before you get out of here. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Of course, it's all 100% free. Just subscribe to our channel for more content. And as always, folks, we will catch you next time.